The first twinge was subtle, a fleeting ache in his knee. Arthur, a man who wore his 60 years with pride, dismissed it as the ever-after effects of his weekend hike. But the ache returned, settling, deeper, spreading. Soon, every joint in his body screamed, a symphony of agony that left him doubled over in bed, tears blurring his vision. Doctors were perplexed. Blood tests, x-rays, even a bone scan revealed nothing. Prescriptions were thrown at him, each offering a brief flicker of hope followed by crushing disappointment. Days bled into weeks, the agonizing symphony replaced by a dull, throbbing ache. Weakness lingered, but Arthur, desperate for normalcy, tried to resume his life. One morning, as he sipped his coffee, a sound terrified him, a soft, dry crack. He froze, eyes wide. Another crack, louder this time, emanated from his ankle. Panic clawed at him as he twisted his leg, expecting pain, but feeling only a dull ache and hearing a chorus of unsettling cracks. He ran his hands over his body, every touch followed by the ominous sound. His knuckles, his spine, his ribs, each emitted a dry, chilling crack. The doctor, this time, couldn't hide his concern. A specialist was called, then another. Still, no answers, just bewildered stares and unanswered questions. The cracks became a constant companion. He couldn't sleep, terrified of the symphony his body played each time he moved. He ate sparingly, the sound of his jaw adding to the terrifying orchestra. He saw himself withering, not from the pain, but from the fear that gnawed at him. One night, as he lay in bed, a horrifying realization dawned. The pain wasn't fading, it was adapting. The cracks, once random, became rhythmic, almost deliberate. Each pop was followed by a fleeting shift, a subtle change in the way his body felt. He swore he could feel his bones subtly changing shape, elongating in some places, compressing in others. The terror became an all-consuming entity. He was trapped in a body that seemed to be actively rejecting him. The doctors remained baffled, offering platitudes and useless referrals. The silence between the cracks became the most horrifying part, a pregnant pause filled with the anticipation of the next agonizing shift. One day, while staring at his reflection, he noticed something new. A faint, almost imperceptible line ran down the center of his face, splitting his skin from forehead to chin. He touched it, his finger tracing the cool, dry path. Another crack, louder than before, echoed from his skull, and the line pulsed, growing wider. Panic clawed at him. He was no longer just afraid of the pain. He was terrified of what he was becoming. The reflection in the mirror seemed to hold a stranger's gaze, a man whose eyes held a flicker of something alien. The fear became a suffocating presence, squeezing the air from his lungs. The final crack came from his chest, a deep, resonating boom that seemed to shake the room. He gasped, a rattling sound that escaped his lips. He looked down, expecting another monstrous transformation, but there was nothing, just a chilling silence and the horrifying realization that settled in its wake. He wasn't becoming something else. He was slowly, agonizingly being unmade. His body, his very self, was breaking down piece by piece. The symphony of cracks, his chilling epitaph. He was trapped in a silent scream, a decaying shell waiting for the final, crushing pop that would signal his complete annihilation. The silence that followed would be the true horror.